Hi, I'm Drew with Pinnacle Emergency Vehicles. Today I'm going to be showing you around this Demers MXP150. The Demers line is just one of several lines that the DBC brand carries. They also carry the Bronze, the Crest lines, and we just recently picked up Medics. So on this MXP150, I'm going to go ahead and start here on the street side, and we're going to work our way around the vehicle, and then I'll get you on the inside. Come along with me. All right, so here we are at street side compartment number 1. And on this particular vehicle, the street side compartment 1 is going to be your O2 compartment. Demers will mount the O2 bottle on an automatic lift, such as a Zyko, if you prefer it. This one, the customer just decided to go with a manual load bottle. The Demers comes with a regulator, and it comes standard with compartment lighting in all exterior compartments, such as displayed here. All right, here we are at the street side number 2 compartment. This is the Demers electrical compartment. There's a closeout panel right here covering up all the electrical goodies on the inside. That's where all of your fuses are, your main breakers, and all of your nodes for your multiplex electrical system is. This vehicle also has a UV light. So one of the safety features for the UV light is there's an external switch, so that way your workers don't need to be inside the vehicle to turn on the UV light. We also have the optional mount for a stair chair with the locking strap here. So another super handy feature to throw on your vehicle is an auto eject. So what this does for you is it helps protect your extension cords and your shorelines from people forgetting in an emergency situation, or they get into a rush and not unplug it. Don't be the guy dragging an extension cord down the road. Go ahead and get yourself an auto eject so it automatically does it for you. Here we are at compartment number 3. In this compartment, we have the 2 adjustable shelves, and then there's open storage below for any equipment that you may have. So a couple of things to take note of here in the exterior compartments of this vehicle. The Demers has these rear warning lights, so as your crew members are on scene and they open up the exterior compartment doors, this gives any civilian drivers or motorists a good heads up that, hey, there's an obstacle here, you know, and it gives you a nice layer of security for your crew members. Another awesome feature of the Demers vehicles is that their OSS compartments have a double layer seal. So this outer seal on the door will stop a lot of the large debris and water, and then it actually steps down, and then you get this second seal on the interior of the door that stops anything else that may have slipped past your first seal. What that does for you is it really keeps down on the debris and dust in your compartments, and it doesn't allow any water to get in there, so your equipment stays nice and dry and ready to use at any time. This is the rear curbside compartment, and this particular customer chose to go with the backboard storage and adjustable shelf. This is a really nice feature because it lets you separate out your items, and you can do multiple shelves or you can do a single shelf, depending on what your personal needs may be. So what you have is a nice buckle here to secure your backboards and scoops, and it just makes easy access for your crew members. So towards the front of the vehicle on the curbside, we have your traditional front compartment, which gives you access to your ALS stack. This lets your guys grab your go bags and any first out the door equipment that they may need. And then down below, we actually have a slide out compartment for your auxiliary batteries. So should you ever need access to that, it's locked away safely down below the floor level here. So here at the curbside door, Demers offers a couple different options for this door. You can have it with a fixed pane of glass, or you can have it with a hinged pane of glass, just to get some fresh air circulation through the vehicle. And then this also has the optional automatic step. So as you have ambulatory patients, or if you have some elderly crew members, this is a great option for you, as this makes entrance and exit of the vehicle extraordinarily easy. With a really low angle of approach here, there's no issues at all getting into this vehicle. We also have the portable O2 bottle mounts right here on the curbside door. These are adjustable, so you can run either D or E bottles without an issue at all. Demers comes standard with power locks on every door. This is a kind of a nice feature to have considering most of the competitors. This is an optional extra. As you can see here, we also have the yellow antimicrobial stainless steel grab handles. This is run throughout the vehicle, and it makes it really nice and clean and easy to sanitize your vehicle after you make a call. So here we are at the rear of the MXP150. And above my head here, you can see that this vehicle is equipped with a backup camera by Zone Defense. There is a monitor mounted up in the cab, and it makes it super easy for your crews to use should they not have a spotter in an emergency situation. It helps protect the rear of the vehicle and keeps your guys out of hot water. So the rear of the vehicle here also showcases one of Demers' signature pieces, which is their windows. So Demers uses an automotive style glass, and it's actually in a pan form door. And what that does for you is it keeps out any water and debris from leaking into the vehicle, versus using a traditional sandwich style window where it's held in from both sides with screws. This is actually held in with an automotive adhesive, the same thing you'd use on your car's windshield. So it's got a tried and true seal, and it keeps the water out of your doors, which helps prevent you from having any rusting inside the door or having a mishap with your latching system due to rust or debris getting inside there. So an often overlooked but very important feature of your ambulance is also having a flip-up center section. What this does for you is, even in the day and age of having auto loaders, should you need to manually load a cot, this gets your crew members nice and close to the rear of the vehicle, and it makes it a shorter lifting distance into the back with the cot. So it just prevents you from having a lot of extra lower back injuries. So here we are at the rear of the vehicle, just about to move to the inside. The last thing to take note of before we do is these cast grabbers here in the rear. These do an awesome job of holding your doors open so they don't come flying shut on you while you're on an incline and you're trying to unload or load a patient into the vehicle. Also take note that at this moment, the liquid spring system that's on the vehicle just went ahead and automatically dropped for me. This gives you a great lower height of loading whenever you're getting a patient in and out. Makes it easier on the crew, helps take care of the lower backs, and just makes it easier to egress the vehicle. So there's a couple really cool optional features here at the rear of the vehicle. One of them being this waste bin mounted to the door here. This makes it really nice and handy for your guys. Whenever you get done loading up a patient in the rear, they can take off their gloves and throw them away. On this side, you have access to your gloves. So you can put up to 3 boxes of gloves in here, and you have easy access whenever you're at the rear of the vehicle for whatever you may need it for. Here we are at the front of the module on the interior. Up top here is a radio communication compartment. So this is a really nice layout feature of a Demers product that most people don't have inside of their trucks. There is a power supply here in the front, so you can add extra circuits for radios or chargers or whatever else you may need to do. So it's really handy. They already got power hooked up. You just pop in a fuse and wire in your new circuit. There's also room up here to mount things to it. So if you want to add a Wi-Fi router, or your radio head can go in here, however you want to handle that. This also has a key on it, so you can lock out the crew members and make it for just maintenance personnel only. Moving over here is another lockable compartment. So this is the top of the ALS stack. There's power outlets up here. So this customer chose to do an IV warmer. So we have an IV warmer mounted up top here for that. You can also do blanket warmers, you can do a narcotics, and get rid of the plexi. So this ALS configuration is just 2 sets of hinged doors. There's no locking mechanisms on these whatsoever. You can order yours with locking mechanisms. You can also order yours with a drawer here in the middle. There's several different options for layouts, and we'd be happy to talk to you about all your choices that you have to make, and we'll get it set up exactly how you'd like to have it. Right here above the pass-through is also another bonus compartment. This is just an optional extra. The standard layout does not have this in the configuration, but the customer made great use of the extra space up here that would normally go to waste. So speaking of pass-through, this has the Demers hinged door on it. It has a nice piece of plexi in here so you can see up into the cab from the rear, and likewise from the front. This is also able to be opened, and it has a nice locking mechanism here that keeps it open for you, and it opens up a clear passage of communication from the driver to the attendant in the rear. So the attendant seat here is an EVS vacuum formed seat that has a child seat mounted to the center of it. You can get your attendant seat in just about any flavor that you want and just about any color that you want. You just let us know what your needs are and we'll be happy to accommodate those. This is the Demers control panel. On this particular vehicle, there's 3 locations that you can actually control the truck from. What that does for you as the end user is it makes it extraordinarily handy whenever you're making a call, that on the way to the call, you can actually set the temperature of the vehicle from the cab of the truck, and you can also set the lights to being on from the cab of the truck. So once you get to being on scene there, the rear of the vehicle is either warmed up or cooled down depending on what your patient need is. And it also makes it really handy that you don't have to look for a light switch whenever you get on scene. You can just open up the doors and you're ready to work. So the way this control panel works is it shares information to the 3 control pads from the main frame of the computer. So what you can do here is you can set the temperature of the vehicle, then you can set your fan speed to auto, low, or high, depending on what you want your settings to be. You can also send codes to the front of the vehicle, so you can send your patient status codes to the driver so they know immediately what's going on in the rear of the vehicle, and they know if they have to step on it or if you're in good shape back there. Now, since we're here in this control panel area, you also have your suction control here, you have your exhaust fan control here, your dimmable dome lights, and your standard cabinet lights. So you also have your attendant control panel light here, which gives you your workspace lighting. Moving further over this way, you have your standard rear speakers, so that way your crew members in the back can hear the radio. So whatever the radio is playing in the front, it's playing in the rear vehicle too, which makes it super nice for doing transports or long trips from the hospital to the patient. Now you also have your inverter control panel here. So this vehicle has a Xantrax. This panel here gives you all your information from battery status to how many amps you're drawing, and it lets you know the status of your inverters. You also have 2 oxygen outlets here with your emergency bypass valve. So you can set this on, so should something happen to the electrical O2 circuitry, you can manually override it, and you never have to worry about not being able to give your patient oxygen. All right, so working back through the interior of the vehicle here, we have a couple of pull-out drawers that have the writing surface plates on top here, so you can put your paper down and you can write down whatever drugs you had to push for that patient and keep track of all that. Here we have our CPR seat, and it has a 6-point retention harness. So this is an incredibly secure way to belt yourself in, and it gives the attendant a lot of flexibility and mobility while working on the patient. So you're secured, but you can still kind of do your thing and get up and move around. We're going to talk about the Demers Heat AC system. So the Demers Heat AC system is a standout feature of the vehicle. It works extraordinarily well. The design is tried and true, and it's really interesting how it works. So unlike every other competitor out there where the heat and the AC come out of the exact same vents, the Demers unit is actually split. So the AC comes out of the top vents here, and then underneath this stainless strip right here is a vent. This is your additional vent, and this is your heat vent. So as everybody knows, on these chilly months in the wintertime, hot air rises. Well, Demers goes ahead and takes care of that in the most practical way that we can. We actually push the heat out of the bottom, which will actually wrap around your patient when the cot's in here, and it heats the patient up really well without blowing all that hot air right on your attendant. So as you're back here working, you're not sweating like crazy trying to warm up your hypothermic patient back here. During the summer months, it's really nice when the cool air comes out of the top vent. You can sit here and rotate these and adjust these onto you as the attendant or EMT, or you can put it on your patient. So in the wintertime, you get the nice heat effect from the floor, and in the summertime, you get the nice cool air blowing right across you like you want. So here at the top of the wall, we have our CN10 compliant restocking hinged cabinet doors. So what that offers you is really nice sliders that latch closed, but you also have the restocking feature. So you can open it up at the end of the shift and the beginning of the shift to restock or do your truck checks. So as the new crew comes on, they can easily flip these up, make sure everything's fully stocked and ready to go for their shift. So here on the curb side of the vehicle, we have a few interesting features on this truck. We have the additional control panel here, which also gives me access to the suction and the exhaust fan and the dimmable lights. I can also make all my necessary adjustments for patient codes or temperature as stated before. So on this wall we have the two seat backers that have the 6-point retentions on them on the squad bench, and we also have a cabinet stack here at the front of the squad bench. So this is a really nice and user-friendly setup here. We have a pull-out drawer for waste, and on this side there's a really nice work surface that you just press in and you pull it out. This is really great for starting up IVs or doing any necessary paperwork during a transport. There's also a lockable drawer here that the customer is going to use for narcotics, which gives you great access to it while you're working on the patient. All your drugs you're going to need are right here. And then you also have another pull-out drawer for miscellaneous storage for airway or whatever else you may want to use there. Above the squad bench we have the glove box holder, and above that we have another nice set of cabinets for you. So mounted on the ceiling here we have an infection control device that is using UV light to sanitize the rear of the vehicle. So the way that Demers has this wired up for safety of everybody involved, this can only be operated when the compartment doors are closed, and it has to be activated from an exterior compartment. In this instance, they have the switch mounted in the exterior compartment number 2 on the street side of the vehicle. So a couple of features here at the rear of the module is, one is our big clock up there that you can see. It has an indicator light on there right now that's green. Now as I lift this center section of the bumper, it turns red. So this allows your crew members to know whether it's safe to egress the rear of the vehicle, or if they need to watch out what they're doing, because if that step's flipped up and they go to step out of the back of the truck, then you just ended up losing one of your crew members, because that's going to hurt real bad when they hit the ground. So the other nice feature at the rear of this module compartment here is the interior patient camera. So the driver can select the view on the camera, and he can actually monitor what's going on back here with the patient. So it just lets him know that his crew member's safe back there and that the patient's getting the care that they need. And it also lets him know the status of the patient. So part of the fully customizable Demers center console here is not only can you get different size plates for your radios, your cup holders, and whatever else you'd like to have, you can also run 110 outlets, which is featured here. You can do 12-volt cigarette plugs, you can do USB outlets, anything that you need for your personal use is available to you. You just let us know and we'll get it put in your console layout. So if you want to talk about noisemakers on an ambulance, Demers has got you covered. We got your Whalen siren speakers here mounted right in the front of the grill, so there's no impedance on the sound whatsoever. And then we also have these bad boys mounted right here to the fender. So if you want to get your air horns mounted up high and out of the way so they're not damaged, this is a great option for you. We can also do it in the traditional mounting locations down here below the bumper, or if you have a brush guard, we don't have any issues at all mounting that right through the brush guard. Well, it's been a really good time showing you guys around this Demers MXP150 Type 1 ambulance mounted on this Ford F450 chassis. I hope you liked what you saw, and if you need any more information, you can feel free to reach out to us at pinnacle-ev.com. You can call me directly at 479-787-3355, and we'll be happy to help you out any way that we possibly can. And have a great day. Look forward to hearing from you. Thanks.